Hello, this is East 1 Chronicles Plus. I am TuxDev. With me are my excellent commentators, the Baronade and Delphi.
Hello
Hey
there,
there.
I'm the Baronade.
Hey there, I'm Delphi Knight. And yeah, this is East 1 Chronicles Plus. This is the Steam release in 2013. This game's old.
Oh yeah, so I'll quickly go over like the releases, right? So this game, or this is in general, was first released on the PC-88 back in Japan in 1987, and it was ported to a lot of consoles since then over time. This specific version of the game was first released as Is Eternal on Windows in 1997, and then touched up and re-released as Is 1 and 2 Complete, again on Windows, in 2001. After that point, it was then ported to the PSP in 2009 as Is 1 and 2 Chronicles, and then back ported to PC that same year in Japan. And then finally in 2013, this version that you see here before your eyes was released on Steam in English as Is 1 and 2 Chronicles Plus.
Alright. And we're already on our way. Tux is making his...
did you already start?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, false start.
I thought
Reset.
you were giving me a countdown. Alright, that's fine. I'll just start the time at 1 minute.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Oh, right,
Whoops.
yeah.
Alright,
This is gonna be a slightly faster run now. Whew.
I'll look
okay.
at the bot and retime it from there, so give me a sec.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, so TuxDev is making his way from the port of Barbados to the town of Minea, where he's going to run over here and buy a wing. Get out of our way, Johan. No one likes you. So the wing is an incredibly important item that teleports you immediately back to town. Think of it like an escape rope from Pokemon, or like a warp wire from Etrian Odyssey. It's one of those items that always brings you back to town from no matter what situation you're in.
And now I'm not going to do something I usually do.
Yeah. As this is no glitches allowed, we are not clipping to the next area, and instead we are running there, which is honestly not too large of a time loss. Just a couple more.
This game normally has about, I think, 3 clips and some minor glitches here and there, but overall, the gameplay itself and the route overall doesn't really change that much, even if you do exclude the glitches. You do lose a little bit of time, but none of those glitches are totally game-breaking or anything like that. So the run, more or less, remains the same, regardless of whether or not you implement them, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. And there's the golden vase. Golden vase, very important. We need it. We're gonna sell it for money.
Money route is quite tight.
Yes. So there are several different routes for East 1. This one in particular is the level 4 Genocris route.
I was just being nice.
Yeah. We can get into more of what that means later, but what I want to draw your attention to right now is the bottom of the screen, where you'll see all of the players' primary stats as well as our experience and gold. Just as a heads up, there are only 10 levels for the character in the game, so each level matters a lot. So, level 4 Genocris, we're going to be doing a little bit of extra stuff just to ensure that this works out.
Yeah, we're gonna reach max level less than halfway through the run, so that's gonna be fun. But that's kind of normal, that happens in all the runs, or all the routes, I should say.
Yep.
So a quick little bit of background information. What's happening here is Pim, the seller that we were just talking to, that we bought this sapphire ring from, actually belonged to the one-eyed man in that bar, right? So you can sell that vase and just leave it at that, and you'll get a certain amount of EXP and gold from it. Or sorry, no EXP, you'll get some gold from the vase. But if you use that money to then buy the ring and give it back to the one-eyed dude in the bar, he gives you quite a lot more gold than you would have otherwise gotten from just selling the vase.
And there we go, exact money. Level 4 route, you need all of the money that you get in order to get a longsword, a small shield, and a chainmail. If memory serves, I think that's what the first armor is.
Yeah, level 1 armor and shield, and level 2 sword.
Yep.
Also, shout out to the best NPC in the game.
Yep. Tutorial skip, not even a glitch. There's just a button to say, hey, have you heard this part of the story before? If yes, click this.
Yeah, it's convenient. Except we can't do that later when there's like longer text boxes. This is the only part in the game where it's like, I know what you're gonna say. I've done this before.
Yep. So, what TuxDev's doing now is what's called the Ludogama side quest. He's running all the way back to the first town in the game, and is going to initiate a side quest that's going to get him to level 3. Now that he's put it up on screen, you can see all of that information in the upper left as well as at the bottom.
Most importantly, the experience number, which I need to keep an eye on.
Yes. There are 2 options for the experience tracker in this game. You can either have it as a countdown or a count up. Both TuxDev and I have it in countdown mode so that we can...
Ah! Ah!
Sorry to all headphone users.
Arcia trolling. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing you do not want to do is run into NPCs, because they're going to tell you about their day, whether you want to hear about it or not. That wastes time.
Mm-hmm. Here's our best friend, Ludogama.
We love him.
Good pal.
I'm not sure if I made those air quotes heavy enough. Let me try. Best friend.
Yeah, I think some of us here have stronger feelings towards him than others, but that's fine. It's all good.
I believe Dolphy has been done in by Ludo more than most of us have.
Oh yeah, we've got some fun information coming up later on this run. Oh boy. Yeah, what's the actual the setup for this game is that Adol is like, he's out at sea. Well, he's about to go out at sea. He's looking at like this storm wall, right? And he's like, man, that storm looks pretty interesting. I'm gonna go sail over there.
Yeah,
So he does. And gets caught in the storm and then washes up like an idiot. Because he went into this. What do you think was gonna happen? What a dingus.
So, the sick lore is Adol was like, hey, there's this unexplored island over there. It's hidden behind the storm wall. And I want to be the first person to pass through the storm wall. So he takes this, like, canoe and rows it across. So, the East games are based on vaguely some French mythology, French folk stories. And East is, in fact, a story in the French mythologies and lore. So this, it is based on an island that's not too far off the coast of northern France. And essentially, Adol is trying to reach that on a canoe.
He did it.
Well, he did it. Nearly died.
Details.
Alright, so now we've talked to Sarah's aunt Jeba, and now we're going into the first boss of the game.
Ooh, yeah, Janorka's coming up.
Yep.
So I'll quickly mention here the difference between the routes to this point, right? Delphi mentioned earlier that there are 3 main ways you can get here. You can get here as a level 1 swordsman, sorry. You can get here as level 2, or you can get here level 4. So here we're going level 4 because level 4 is a lot more consistent, it's generally much easier, and...
You don't have to care about the fire.
Yeah,
Mostly don't have to care about the fire. You still have to care a little bit.
For whatever reason, at the lower levels, it doesn't really matter what kind of equipment you've equipped. You do the same amount of damage to him no matter what. His damage is based very heavily on your level for whatever reason. At level 1 and 2, the amount of damage you deal per hit is always the same. It's a very small amount, but it's optimal, I guess, if you want to get through here fast. Basically, the best way to get here, in theory, is to not equip anything, just go in with your bare hands and just slap the heck out of him. Like 30 times and dodge every hit, basically.
Yep.
That's very hard to do.
Yeah. Baronade
Unfortunately.
and I both, when we're doing PB attempts, do level 2 for the most part. Sometimes we are particularly feeling masochistic and do level 1 attempts for a bit. And, yeah, it sucks. It's really bad.
Yeah, the only difference, so I guess you lose about 15 seconds if you do level 2 over level 1, and you lose, I think, over a minute if you do level 4 over level 2. The only difference between level 2 and level 1 is that you do a short side quest for that, for the ring and the one I do in the bar. That gives you 1 extra level, and it lets you get hit an extra 3 times total, but it doesn't change the amount of times that you still have to hit him.
It just makes it safer. And the money's kind of nice, I guess. You don't need money in this game. Like, unless you're doing level 4.
And
So here's the
specifically
part where
only that
TuxDev
moment.
doesn't here's the part
I
where
had to
TuxDev
like
doesn't
slow
forget
down
the
to make sure I didn't accidentally just do it by instinct.
Yeah. So TuxDev didn't forget the Mask of Eyes, unlike a certain someone in this call. Not gonna name names or anything.
Uh-huh. Right, Delphi.
Rip Delphi.
Yep. That is a required item that
Come on, Fina.
that is entirely necessary.
It's kind of a fun fact for anybody who might not know. I'm pretty sure you can actually, if you push Fina into enemies as soon as you've done a bit of damage to them and get her to do the final blow, I think you can level her up and get some achievements for that
She
in
will
Steam.
die
Yep.
for that unless they're frozen with a Mia.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it is indeed a Steam achievement to do that.
Yeah. She has like a max level of 3 or something. I
Something
don't
like
remember.
that.
Eventually, you can get her strong enough to the point where she can run around and punch stuff, but you don't want to do that. It's much better when you level up Tarf.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is
In
too.
East 2, yeah. Tarf's a god in East 2.
Does he throw stuff? He throws like
Yeah,
rocks,
he throws
right?
a rock. He has a
Gets a
slingshot.
sling.
Oh
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Alright, so we're rescuing Fina here. We didn't do a glitch here that would normally be done in runs called Double Fina EXP, where if you mash, confirm, and cancel fast enough, you can hit accept on the text box for Fina multiple times. This actually works on every text box in the game, except on every other one it hard locks you.
Yeah, it's interesting. The mechanics behind why this works is really kind of bizarre. And there are some other glitches you can also do at Fina that are a lot less useful. Like you can choose to accept her quest and then in the same instance as you're starting the animation to begin walking to her, decline the quest and just leave. She gives you like the text like, "Thank you for saving me," but you just leave the room and that's it. So yeah, interesting stuff.
And another clip that we're not gonna do, being passed by.
Oh, my favorite clip.
Yeah,
Walk on water.
yeah. At least this way I don't have to talk about not knowing how to do the correct setup, but... So now we're going into the abandoned mine.
Everything and anything is going to murder you. Hard.
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta,
Less
we gotta
hard.
avoid every enemy at all costs, pretty much. Tango around the chest.
Yeah, Daddle is like
Sweating.
really bad at opening chests sometimes.
Yeah, they're really slippery. Someone must have doused them in oil or something. It's hard to open them.
Yeah, sometimes you just run into a chest and he opens it straight away and it's like, oh, it's cool. But then other times you'll run into it and he's like, what, over here, this way? And you'll just like run around at 360 degrees before you even get a chance to. I don't understand. It's chest physics. They're like coated in oil or something.
Yeah.
Not down
Big
there.
Mouth trying to go for you.
The purple people eaters.
Yeah. The boulder does not appreciate adult opening chests.
Nope.
Oh yeah, I found out recently that these guys are called Menons, apparently.
They
So
are.
that's kind of
Heck yeah.
Alright, so generally in runs, this is where most runs go to die. If you can get to this point past Chronicles, a lot of runs die in this zone, because these guys can all one-hit you.
Yeah. There's a safety strat that only wastes a little bit of time, and if used properly is about the same as a different strat later on, where you pick up an item called the shield ring in the shrine, which halves all damage you take, which makes it so that you can take a whole 2 hits in the
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
and
actually
as
what
you
we're
can
doing in this
see
run.
from my little overlay, I actually do have the shield ring.
Yes.
Also some minor time save notes right here. So we're gonna find our troubadour friend, Rhea, and we're gonna give her harmonica back that we found. Turns out if you can...
I'm just gonna let
you can
this
teleport from any
cutscene
angle.
fly. Since it actually
I like
doesn't
this.
waste any time whatsoever.
Yeah, if you disable cutscenes, you'll just stand there for the same amount of time, and the music will play, but there'll be no video. If you run into her from the side, you waste a tiny bit of time as opposed to running at her from like right behind her.
I actually did
Because-
not know that.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a fun little thing, because Adol needs to still play. If you run at her from the very side, then he'll play that little animation where he walks around and like stands behind her. But if you run at her from behind, because you're still in the running animation, you save that walking time because you only walk like a shorter distance from like right behind her.
I almost
Remember
forgot
not
it
to clip.
again.
Oh yeah, the clip that we would have done here now to like clip out of bounds and skip to the area. This is probably one of the biggest time saves in the game. It saves like 30 seconds almost, or like 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it can be failed, and multiple times. You can waste time doing it.
Quite.
All of these clips are pretty precise, but they all have very, very good setups. It's just that the setup for the rotatory skip that we're doing here and the golden vase skip are just a little bit less good than the other clip.
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, I was coming up with the clips for these setups that we're talking about here. And what I found from doing those way back then is that they are actually pixel perfect, which is super annoying. Especially performing them on like a D-pad on a controller or something like that. It's very hard to be super precise on the first try.
Yes, it is. Therefore, I play keyboard.
Yeah, I suppose I should mention real quick, you can play this on like any input method you want and do well.
Me
You
and
can
Delphi
play it on-
have at one point raced on fight sticks.
Yes. You can play it on fight stick, you can play it on hitbox, you can play it on controller, you can play it with your mouse, you can
That would be
if you
interesting.
somehow set if you know if
Actually, yeah, you
somehow-
can.
Yeah, if you somehow set it up, you could probably even play it with WI tracking. Like you could do it whatever you want and it'll probably work.
Yeah, this game is amazing.
Yeah. It just occurred to me that we haven't even talked about the combat.
Oh, right, okay, so the combat in this game. Do you want to
So
do
is-
the honors?
Yeah, so imagine that you're going out for bumper cars. But then when your friends tell you that there's no concession stands, that is East 1.
I guess normally what's standard in RPGs is to either have some sort of turn-based system or, well, at the very least you'd press a button at least to swing your sword, pull out your shield maybe. Not in this game. All you need is to run at the enemy, and you just need to run at them at a very specific angle. Or it doesn't even need to be that specific.
Yeah,
In
just
this game, and even in the older versions of this game, if you run at the enemy kind of off-center, you'll generally hit them without taking any damage, and you can usually, you know, run them up against the wall or something and just combo them to death. If you run at them directly, you'll both take damage and you'll be bounced back, and generally for the strong enemies that's not preferable because you take quite a bit of damage overall if you keep using that method. I think if you run at them diagonally, you can almost always guarantee a hit without getting hit yourself. If you get stuck against the wall and you're up against a fast enemy, there is a chance that they can just like ping you up against the wall and do multiple damages or multiple hits to you. There are also very weird circumstances where you can get stuck with an enemy and it'll multi-hit you multiple times per second. It's incredibly rare and it doesn't really happen that often, but when it does, it can kill you, even if it looks like you're going at the right angle. Also, speaking of
Getting
multi-hits and
stuck
infinites, this
in
next
walls?
what are you talking about? I'm totally not opening up TuxDev's channel and grabbing a specific clip.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Alright, so our goal here now will be to level to 7. And there we go.
Yep. Much easier on this route because you're already a much higher level going into this.
Yeah, that's true. Dang it, I'm jealous.
Yeah, and you can actually kill enemies in the first floor of the mines on level 4 route.
Oh yeah, because you have the... Oh yeah, so in the,
You have the
in
big
the other
big
routes...
sword and the and more level. It's still not like a good idea to even get to the position where you're trying to kill an enemy, but it's possible.
Our good pal NoGA3 is coming up. The worm boss.
Yep. Oh, not safe info for it, Tux? That's ballsy of you.
Alright, he's down.
Alright.
He's pretty free,
Yep.
as long as you don't get caught.
Yeah, but if you have time and are kind of bored, I'd recommend checking out TuxDev's most popular clip.
Oh, it's a blast. I love that.
Johan! I can't be as emphatic about it when it's not me.
Yeah, it doesn't have that same, like
Like,
guttural reaction.
Yeah, it's not the same as when he just stole your time from you.
No.
Old man Franz.
Oh no, the best NPC in the game is dead.
She said to give it to a red-haired swordsman. That's us!
We're the only
There are
person
no
with
other
red hair
redheads.
in the game.
Are we actually? I wonder if that's
Nope.
true.
No, Pin has red hair.
Oh, yeah. The dodgy seller dude.
Mm-hmm.
Merchant, that's the word I was looking for. Alright, never mind.
I mean, for all we know, he could be in a cellar.
Is
You never
I
know.
mean, shop is
He
above
could-
ground though.
Yeah, but we don't see his living quarters.
That's true, I guess.
Oh, did you forget to talk to them?
What, these guys?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I'm wondering why you're running back here. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
next is mines.
Whoops.
Yeah, we do need. We need some book reading done.
Yeah.
No, we don't. Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Oh, true, actually.
Yeah.
And this route is so weird.
Yeah.
This
This
route
is-
is so weird.
So it's not very different than the regular route, but it's just enough to throw off muscle memory. Because it looks the same, plays the same, must be the same, right? No.
I think I think it's pretty much the same from the next boss onwards, but up until that point, there's a lot of like little side quests and trips that you make that you wouldn't otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
I
cool,
was
we get to
pretty
see more of the game
terrified
this
by
way.
the worm there.
Yeah.
Alright, so coming up is going to be the most exciting part of this game, the grind.
Yep. Hope everyone's ready for some hashtag grind.
Gotta get that bread.
And at this rate, I'm not gonna have enough of warm drink for mandatory tea time.
Alright, so we're level 8 now. We've got to get all the way to level 10 in these mines before we hit the next boss.
What was that guy doing
pound.
there?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was actually
what
kinda
the
weird
heck?
spawn.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not that weird.
Yeah.
Wait,
that's
yeah,
not
no, that
fair.
guy's normally just a little bit further north.
Actually, I'm
There's
more
yeah.
surprised the Phoenix was where it was. Because I was just following the Phoenix.
Oh yeah. Yeah, enemy
Alright.
spawns in this game are a bit strange. They all have designated spawn points, and all of them respawn when far enough off screen. But they like to wander.
Oh, yeah, I think one thing that I was playing around with a while back ago when we were having a look at spawn points, I don't think the enemies actually spawn at a single point. I think they have a radius of like blocks in the game, and they can spawn anywhere in that zone. Usually, if you're running at them from a certain vantage point, they'll always spawn like in a line directly underneath you if you're in line with the center of that radius.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're coming from a different vantage point, they can spawn somewhere else. And that leads to some really weird things. Like I know that some of the knights, I think, can spawn just past the wall of the cavern.
Huh.
And then
Well,
there's
like, I think
the
the radius
teleporting dogs,
is
which
good.
are always super terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, some weird stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
this grind, when you don't do the shield ring safety strat, is very, very stressful. At least for me.
Yeah.
Uh,
So the reason why the shield ring's not that big of a deal is that the other safety strat is to buy a healing potion instead.
or not buy,
Well,
not buy one. but
acquire
there's
one.
a-
Yeah,
Yeah,
pick up a
there's a-
chest.
Because there are two relatively close to the route, and you can very easily pick one up in the second visit to the shrine.
However, you don't need to pick up that healing potion if you have Shield Ring.
Mm-hmm.
So the time you take to pick up the Shield Ring and the time you take up the potion kind of wash out.
Just depends on which safety strat you prefer.
You're just gonna run up and down. Go destroy quite a few of these fellows.
Yep. Each one of them gives 500 experience, and we need 9,320 more.
Now you might be wondering, like, why would you want to do this versus just going and fighting the boss, right? Surely that would give you some EXP. That would be fast, wouldn't it? Well, turns out that doing this little grind here is quite a bit faster than going and fighting the boss later on. And the reason is because that boss, the way he works is based a lot on RNG. He spawns at certain intervals. Well, he can choose to spawn or not spawn at certain intervals, and when we see him, it'll become a bit more apparent. But the problem is that at lower levels, it takes more hits to kill him, and he has more chances to not spawn at certain points, and your potential time for that boss battle drastically increases. And while it could go pretty quickly, the chances are very, very low.
I did.
Did you miscount?
Yeah.
Can you do one more, dude?
It's okay.
There we go.
All right, level 10. We are now max level.
All right, time for Vagulian.
Yeah. Also, on most versions of the game, this boss is actually just basically invulnerable until you hit level 10. You deal 1 damage.
Is that true? That's ridiculous.
Yep. On some versions of the game. I don't know about Chronicles Plus.
And then some versions of the games, you can barely hit him even when he's formed up.
Oh,
I think
boy,
in all the
TG6.
versions that this is derived from, you can still do damage at lower levels, but it's just quite a bit harder.
Yep.
How long did it take us to do the TG16 Vagulian?
It took us a couple days. I had a solid several hours of attempts against TG16 Vagulian. I suppose I should mention again, this game, as Baronade mentioned earlier on, has been on many platforms for over the course of about 40 years.
Basically, literally anything and everything.
Yes. So, when we say TG16, we're referring to the TurboGrafx 16 or Turbo Duo version of East 1. East 1 and 2 specifically, because it was a combo game. And in that game, Vagulian was only vulnerable for 4 frames. I don't know what the frame rate of the Turbo Duo is, but it was not a very fun experience. Not one I'm very willing to recreate.
Yeah, so you can kind of see here what's happening. The bats will kind of fly around for a little while, and it's kind of a set amount of time that they fly around for. And they can either just donut around for a bit, do a little spin, or he can spawn around. Now you generally want him to spawn on the first kind of donut spin every single time, although the chances of that are low. Worst case scenario, you could get like very, very bad luck. I don't think he ever fakes you out more than 3 times. But if you get very bad luck, you can waste minutes on this boss battle. So generally, you want to be level 10 for this, just to minimize the amount of hits you have to deal him.
Remember not to wing glitch.
I think I've wing glitched every other time just on habit.
How dare you? No glitches allowed. Get banned from the marathon.
Oof.
No.
Suddenly we get taken off the air.
Yikes.
So I'll mention quickly how that glitch works, just for the sake of informing the viewers. The wing glitch is something you can do. Well, it's kind of disingenuous to call it the wing glitch because it works with more than just the wing. But basically, during animations of certain animations in the game, you can put in button inputs. So if you have, let's say, the wing equipped to your item button, for example, and you run into a chest, there are a few frames of the chest opening, the opening animation, where you can put in a command. So for example, you can open up your inventory during that time and you'll hear the chest open in the background, and then when you close your inventory, the chest will finish opening. Or you can use the wing. So what would happen is the chest would start opening, you'd run the animation, the text box would appear, but in that time, as you've probably seen already on a few chests, you would warp back immediately. It only saves about 4 seconds per chest that you do it on, but it is, over the course of the game, you know, it adds up a little bit. That being said, it's only very minor and doesn't really change much in terms of gameplay, but yeah, we probably shouldn't do it going forward.
Well, we can't do it.
We
going forward
can't. That was the
because
last
now we're
one.
Yep.
Oh yeah, true, we actually can't use it. It doesn't have a place anymore.
Yep. Yeah. Another notable place where the quote-unquote wing glitch is potentially usable is that very first vase at the gold vase at the beginning of the game, where you can technically cancel the animation and pick it up. But that
okay. I can go over that briefly as well.
Yeah.
So what happens, for whatever reason, when you use the wing anywhere, as long as you keep holding the direction that you're running in while you activate the wing, Adol, for some reason, moves one input forward. So what happens is, with the golden vase in the lake, when you first find it, the way the game is programmed is that as soon as you run into a specific radius of where the little animation for you picking up the vase occurs, as soon as you run into that zone, the game takes note of that and puts the golden vase into your inventory. And as soon as that happens, it starts playing the animation, and you pick it up out of the pond, and the little text box appears that you've picked it up, and the text box closes, and then you can do whatever. Now, because of the way this works, you can activate the wing glitch just before you enter the zone where you would pick up the vase. If you keep holding down, assuming you've activated it in the correct spot, you move one input down. The game thinks, oh, okay, he's moved into the radius where he can pick up the vase. It puts it into your inventory, but the wing activates, right? So you get teleported back. Now, because all of that
do you have a
happened and it
mirror
didn't...
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see you buy one, so I got scared.
What?
That would be unfortunate for the 17th floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the animation doesn't play and the vase stays there, which means that you can go back and pick up the vase an infinite number of times and keep selling it for infinite money. But yeah, it does save a bit of time if you choose to do it in a run, but it's very, very risky, and if you fail it, you'd have to essentially reset, so it's not worth doing unless you're tazzing it or something.
Or Korzik.
Or Korzik.
Yeah, but Korzik is kind of nuts, so...
Yeah, Korzik is the world record holder for this game on the any percent easy difficulty.
Our boy.
Suppose speaking of difficulty, this is being played on the easy difficulty. No, that does not mean that it's an easy game. East games are generally kind of notorious on the higher difficulties for just being kind of
Extra hard.
Yeah. And East 1 is no exception. So by playing it on the easy difficulty, all that really changes is there's less RNG. And that's it. That's it. The damage we take is about the same. The damage we deal is about the same. Just you don't have to worry about some rude things that bosses and enemies can do.
Yeah,
Also-
a lot of the higher difficulties, the enemies speed up and the bosses are vulnerable for less time or have slightly different attacks. But yeah, it's very similar across all of them. I guess you could say that it's not very easy. Ooh.
Also, we spend most of this sorely under-equipped, since they just took away all of our good stuff.
Yes, so bit of a story update. Adol went into Dharma Tower, which has the rest of the Books of East, and promptly got all of his silver gear stolen from him because he's a klutz. So now he's gonna climb the rest of the floors with only his bare fists to guide him.
Those fists are pretty strong.
Yeah, they are.
Here you go, Rava hiding in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I guess here's a good point to mention that the other localizations of the game, or more specifically the Japanese version of the game, is quite a bit faster to run because all of the text boxes zoom by quite a lot quicker. And this section specifically is a very good illustration of that, where you save I don't actually know how many seconds, like 15 seconds on all those text boxes, but it's pretty crazy. Also, another interesting point is that these balconies, right? Every time you exit a floor and you run across to the next balcony, there is actually an optimal direction. They do loop around, meaning you can run either left or right and you will hit the next floor no matter which direction you run in. But you can save, I forget how many frames, but it's about 0.6 seconds per floor if you take the optimal direction each time. And there isn't any pattern, it's kind of random. But
it's like 50-50 which way is correct. So if you just go
Yeah,
left all the time, you'll at least be half right.
Yeah, I think if you pick the optimal direction on every one of like the 20 floors or so, versus just going left every single time, you can save up to like 6 seconds, which is very little, but it's just, yeah, it's just an interesting point. We'll be coming up to pick them soon, just gotta get our silver swords back.
Yeah, because the demons were like, hey, we just stole his stuff. Let's put the sword right behind the trap that took it away from him. And so yeah, now we got our sword back. So
Well, here's the best buddy. I don't need to talk to him though.
Yeah.
Hi, doggy. Bye, doggy.
Bye, Colin.
Colin.
Thought about it. Alright, pick the rest.
So I think on the easy difficulty, he throws out 3 of these little, like, boomerangs of death. Siths, I guess. Is it scythes? Scythes, I think, right? Yeah, he throws out 3 at a time, and he waits for all of them to come back, and then he throws out 3 more. On the harder difficulties, he doesn't necessarily... I don't know which difficulty he starts doing this at, but... Is it only Nightmare, not on hard?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess on Nightmare difficulty in that case, he can throw them out whenever. Like, as soon as he gets 1 back, he can throw it out again. So your goal in Nightmare is to, like, make sure that he throws out all 3, and that he gets back all 3 roughly the same time. Because if he's just getting 1 back at a time and throwing them out in rhythm, that can be very, very, very hard to get a hit in after that point. Also, one thing I want to point out about like the atmosphere of this game, if you take notice outside, as you get higher and higher in the tower, the sun is gradually setting. I think that's such a cool effect.
Yeah. So before Tux entered Darm Tower, the thief Goban, like, hey, I'm gonna let you in, but you only have 24 hours. If you don't come out before 24 hours, you're gonna be proclaimed dead. Good luck.
Very dramatic.
Yep.
I think one thing that kind of doesn't make sense though is that we'll be going up pretty high up in the tower, and it'll start to become nighttime, but then we'll have to come back all the way down, and it's gonna become daytime again.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because it's coming around to be morning.
Yeah, but then we have to go back up again, and it's nighttime again, so it's like 2 days.
Yeah.
Dude, we're gonna be dead when we get back.
I mean, yes.
Shadow of the Tower of Death. Such a good song.
It's a good song.
I think that might be my favorite song, or my favorite track.
If anyone's played East Origin, it's also the theme of the Wailing Blue, which is so good. And now we get Dreaming. Also an incredible song.
I do like Dreaming a lot. I like every single song in this game.
Man, it's a shame that the song after Dreaming is the only bad song that Falcom Sound JDK has ever written. So this is Consquard.
You run in a circle and you win.
Yeah.
That's how you kill him.
That's how you're supposed to kill him.
It's not even a speedrun thing. I'm pretty sure that's just how you're meant to kill him.
Yep. Yeah, that's Consquard. That is the intended strategy, I guess. No one knows.
He looks like that shouldn't be it, but there's like no video footage of anyone killing him in any other way. There's like a drastically different strategy, because you will die. You'll take damage.
You'll take a lot of damage. if you try and do it any other way.
Alright, let's go for the mirror maze.
I missed that mirror my first playthrough. I don't know about you guys. I didn't think about that mirror.
Which mirror?
The mirror to, like, the last mirror that you take. The one that sends you to the
Oh, in
exit.
the maze.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mirror is like the most confusing thing ever.
Battle shield.
We're ready to battle now. Look
Yeah.
how cool it looks. Man, it's so edgy. It's got like fire. Whew.
Yeah. Battle shield's another really good safety strat. It makes the next boss not instantly kill you.
Yeah, the next
I've got
two bosses coming.
I got nothing more to say on it than just won't
Pretty
answer.
much. because damage, the way damage works in this game is that it's active every frame.
And
No iframes.
yeah, what's an invincibility frame?
Yeah, that's a good point actually. There's no invincibility in this game. So if you run into like fire or something, you'll just constantly take damage so long as you stay in the fire. Or in any, like, in the way of any force, I guess. Which I actually really like. I like that mechanic. It makes the whole thing quite a bit more challenging.
Alright. Monocle. So, Monocle lets us read in the language of Ancient East
It also
because Adal
puts
is
a-
illiterate.
It also puts a pretty nasty tilt on the screen while it's like equipped. So I equip the item that I will need later on shortly instead.
You know, I actually kind of like the tint. It reminds me of, like, you know how when you've got your phone and you're like, oh, you know, it's kind of straining my eyes, it's getting to nighttime. It's like that sort of tint, right? When you put, like, the night tint on.
Not really, because
Dude, I just realized what they are. He wears gunners.
you know this
Confirmed.
guy? You invite this guy for commentary? I don't know this man.
Alright, we're heading all the way
Alright.
back.
Yeah, so now we're heading back through the mirror maze. The way back's a little bit more annoying than the way forward. Basically, just got to do everything in reverse,
Ish.
sort of.
Yeah, the mirror maze is a little bit of a different beast in terms of going backwards. But everything else is pretty much in reverse.
Yeah.
Also, the main reason why we're running back down now is because you could, in theory, go back up to just all the way to the top of the tower, but you'd be stuck at the very last door. Because in order to enter the very last point of the game, you need to collect an item from our good old pal, Ludogema, who's waiting for us on the 11th floor.
Let me tell you a story. Story about a man named Ludogema.
Go for it.
So, coming up here, TuxDev's gonna walk into a room and talk to our buddy old pal Ludogema. And then he's not gonna get soft locked there because that's not gonna happen. But if he were, it's gonna look something like getting shunted to the right and then shunted behind him, and it's really strange and doesn't make any sense. And it's not actually a soft lock, it just looks like one, and it's really annoying and hard to get out of.
It certainly
Yeah,
took
these
longer
little
for you to
spiders are
figure out how to get out of that during that race than, you know, it took for me to finish the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it's programmed that way, but you can, if you run up against the wall at a very precise angle, I still don't know how anyone could manage this accidentally, but this is how it was discovered. You can run at an angle to wedge yourself in between him and the wall, and then it's very, very, very difficult. Borderline impossible, but not quite, to get out of there.
You can technically do the same thing when talking to Jeba back in Zepic Village, but it's not as hard to get yourself out from behind her. And I don't know
It's really
about
run all the way back up.
I think it's because the game locks your movement direction during certain animations. So, like, when you're coming out of that that tight corridor in the mirror maze, it actually locks your down direction and doesn't let you turn. And
Yeah.
after talking to some people, it locks your direction. So who knows? That might be part of it. But
Maybe, yeah.
this
I know
is
that
def-
depending on your input, it changes. Like, I think if you use 8-directional input, you can't actually get stuck.
Mhm.
And also, you can't get out if you do get stuck. If you switch to 8-directional, I don't know why you would do that, but if you do that, then you wouldn't be able to get out. On the Japanese version of this game for the PC, the 2011 release is 1 and 2 Chronicles. It's quite a lot harder to get out of that stuck spot than it is to in Is Chronicles Plus, and that just has to do with how differently joysticks are. I guess what's the word? How
registered.
different the input is registered.
Yeah.
Also,
So
good
that-
luck getting through Scorpion Valley if you had never used a mirror in the game ever.
Yeah. Scorpion Alley is, well, an apt name. Yo, nice.
Yeah,
You
it-
didn't take the long way around. Yeah, there's like an entire other half of this room that we're never gonna see.
That's kind of true for almost every floor, I feel like, though.
Yeah. But that one's
There's
particular-
passageways and chests.
yeah, that
These
one's
guys can be
particularly...
trolls, so I'm just gonna prepare.
Oh yeah. This room sucks. Eps-
Ooh, nice
Again,
evasion.
Kool-Aid Man, jumping out the wall, and Flame Sword.
Do we have a minute?
Yeah.
For 2 things. So, first of all, remember to stay hydrated. And second of all, I just like to plug this again. If you are wondering what we're running for, we are running for the Go Rescue charity, which is essentially a new no kill shelter for dogs, newly established, and basically just giving dogs just a new home instead of because in the area it was established, there's like a lot of the last no kill shelter was just torn down. So basically, if that no shelter wasn't established, then all the dogs in that area that would have been lost would have just been killed. So if that sounds like the cup of tea you want to support, then do use the link that is in the chat right now to donate to the charity, and your donation will be read on screen.
Yeah,
And
let's go,
remember to
guys.
stay-
Let's donate.
And remember to stay hydrated.
Thank you very much for that. Alright, back to some intense gameplay. We're here fighting the second last boss, Yoglex and Emulgan, the 2 heads.
This boss is really annoying, and remember how we mentioned earlier that there are no invincibility frames. Those orbs circling him deal an enormous amount of damage on every frame, and
Ooh, nice.
TuxDev clutched out the kill.
I died once.
Yup. So for reference, that shield ring that he equipped doesn't work on bosses. Yeah. Also, we're unequipping our powerful little flame sword that we just got because we're at the final boss, Dark Fact. And if you played the TG16 version, he says, "Haha, you can only kill me with silver equipment."
There's some lore behind that, like, I think he hoards silver stuff.
Yeah, because
And there's
he
some
has a
backstory about
special
his parents
cloak.
being killed.
He has a special cloak that's infused with the power of silver, and you can only use silver stuff to kill him because he's got the special cloak.
Yep.
Fancy guy.
Oh, that was close.
Interestingly enough, also good job. I think that the flame sword is one of the weakest, if not the weakest weapon you can hit him with.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, time coming up. So as soon as the book is read, and the last text box closes,
There we
it's
go.
time. Alright, that's time. Good stuff.
And that was East 1 Chronicles Plus.
Yeah, there we go. Kind of ends on a bit of a cliffhanger.
That's
There you
because
have
this is only half of a video game.
Kind of. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. This was the Glitchless Run. Be sure to check out all 3 of our channels.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/TuxDev, that's TuxDev, DEV.
DEF.
Twitch.tv/DelphiKnight, DelphiN. I'm
Don't-
not sure how to.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, so check. Yeah, if you're
I'll
curious
link
about...
them for you. 1 second. 1 second. There.
That did not go as smoothly as I planned.
You tried.
Is it NHYTE?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
You did
Gosh
it.
darn tootin'.
Every week we have a race on Thursdays. It's really fun.
Oh yes, definitely. Definitely go watch that.
Yeah. So
Anything else you want to shout out?
if you're ever interested in running East games, be sure to hit us up. The East community Discord is linked on all of the speedrun.com pages.
Or you
So-
can link it in chat if you have chat open.
I do not at the moment.
All right.
But-
In any case, you can hit any of us up. We always do races. We actually have a race tomorrow at roughly the same time as this race took place. So, I mean, this run, not this race. So be sure to tune into that at any one of our Twitch channels if you feel the desire to. And also, donate to this lovely charity, please.
Yes, this is an excellent cause that you guys should definitely donate to.
All right. Thanks so much for running.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.